Now, Auschwitz is in Poland, Maria, and all the most famous concentration or death camps were more in Eastern Europe. There was a concentration camp or two or three or four in Germany, but they were kind of a bit, they weren't as extreme. Oh, there were some shocking things that happened in those too. Dachau, that was in Germany, I think. But the thing about what the Germans were up to, from what I hear, is what they would do is they did see themselves as civilized, and they did like follow the law. But what they did eventually, I'm not up to that bit yet, but what happens in Poland is that that's a famous moment. In Germany, the Nazis invade Poland. That's the big moment. But they destroyed the joint. Oh, more than destroyed the joint, killed everybody, as many people as they could, especially as Jews, the Jews. But also they didn't like Poles either. The Slavic, they're not Germans. What they also did was they caused laws to disintegrate in Poland and in other places in Eastern Europe too. Now, those, like Poland, for example, becomes a legal desert. This is how it was described to me by someone once. Poland becomes a legal desert. It has no laws, law and order, but law has broken down. It's a desert in the legal sense. Germany still has laws. Now, the laws in Germany are subservient to Hitler, the person. Hitler, the person, not just Hitler, the office of the Chancellor, and by this stage, the office of the President as well, because he was both by now, crazy stuff. But there is law in Germany, and there's certain things you can't do according to the law. And death camps are a tricky one to pull off and still feel like you are being civilized and law-abiding. However, what you can do is send all the Jews to a place where that is beyond and outside of where German law applies. And what the Germans were doing then, as soon as they had Poland, as soon as they had destroyed Poland, they built Auschwitz there. That's how I understand how it all worked. Now, as soon as they did that, they could do anything they wanted over there in Poland, because Poland was a legal desert. So you can't break a law in a place where laws don't apply. So they started sending all the Jews, and a few others too. Some people say, it wasn't just the Jews, they did it to the gypsies too. It wasn't personal. It was freaking personal. It was freaking personal from day one. But from 1921 or something, Hitler was saying all the Jews have to be removed. And it moved on to all the Jews have to be exterminated. Some people say, he was killing disabled people, which he was too, and he was killing bloody gypsies and others, and his own enemies and stuff, and the Jews think that they're being special because they got killed as well. No, he was after the Jews. It was personal. It was full on. It was the main target was the Jews. But what do you do now? Is you want to kill a whole lot of Jews. What you do is you don't do it in Dachau. Look, I'm not that familiar with Dachau. I know there was, even prior to Auschwitz and all that sort of stuff, they were putting people in Dachau and there's shocking beatings with iron bars. There was, apparently, and people would have died there and all that sort of stuff. But it wasn't like what was happening in Auschwitz. It was still kind of legal beatings, and there were legal killings even in Germany. But what ended up going on in Auschwitz, from what I gather, is this is where they wanted to do mass genocide with a focus on Jews. Forget about that. That thing. The Jews weren't that special. It was gypsies as well. Forget that. They were after the Jews. Wanted them exterminated. They wanted them more than anyone else by far. Anyway, so what happened then? And this is why you see lots of images of trains. You sort of think, because Germany ended up taking Hungary as well. Or Hungary joined up with Germany. Sensitive, and you sort of think, why didn't they just kill them there? I think the rule of law was still happening in Hungary. Don't know, I'm not a lawyer. But definitely lots and lots of Jews got transported to Poland to be killed there. You'd sort of think, why not just kill them where they are? Not a very nice subject, all this. But it seems inefficient, doesn't it? Why train people? Why put people on trains and transport them long distances and then kill them the instant they get there? It's a lot of diesel, were they steam engines, diesels, whatever? A lot of something, a lot of wood, but it wasn't only about efficiency. It was about being civilized. And what you do is, I wish I knew more about all this, so this is what I heard. But you'd get these long train trips from Hungary and from all sorts of places, I think they took Ukraine, so did they transport them from, the Germans got Ukraine in the end. Actually, they got the Baltic states. They wiped the Jews out, just about, You'd get somewhere like in Warsaw in Poland, or they didn't have to be transported far. And I think that was 33, 34, 35% Jewish as a city. Today, I looked it up once, it's about 2%. After they got them all, just about. And one of those 2% is probably people who've gone back to Poland since. It's mental. But the idea of Auschwitz is you can run a death camp and not have to worry about whether you're being uncivilized or not. Because laws do not apply. You're sending the Jews somewhere, or you're sending them into a legal desert and they can die there, And I think this is why, because you'd think, you could just round them up where they are, in Berlin or something, and just, they probably did a bit of that here everywhere. Look, I think I have heard that there was that, militias probably took things into their own hands. But that was kind of breaking the law. A lot of Jews got killed in Germany, of course. A lot of Jews got killed in situ, in Hungary. But but when they wanted to do the big numbers, they would have been militia gangs and everything. Hungarians wanting to kill the Jews amongst them, Germans wanting to kill the Jews amongst them, but when they wanted to do the mass gassing, the whole proper death camp thing, I think they had to put them, to be civilized and abide by the law, put them on the trains and send them to Poland. And I think that's the way it went.